First of all, let me tell you something. Lamont is just full of
Sometimes my mama said, you know, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one? Okay, Lamont, go ahead.
Rudy Giuliani practices voodoo. So he put a voodoo hex on my girl, Hillary, and that's why she got woozy. And the Secret Service had to prop her up and put her in the van.
But take us to a break, my dude.
It was voodoo, son.
I don't know about that voodoo.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is three black guys with a mic.
Oh, no, you didn't.
It's Santa Claus, and guess what, y'all? I got something to show. I came to give you a Christmas spirit. I got a big bag now. Guess what's in it? Some for the rich and some for the poor. Merry Christmas and ho, ho, ho. What's up, y'all? Happy holidays.
Lamont.
Yay. Where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides. I tell you,
He Lamont. Yo, he's taking all the gimmicks.
Money reside, where the money reside, where the money reside.
He's taking all the gimmicks off top. He don't want us to have no funny. He want to be the only person that can be funny.
I'm not giving you. Y'all had the opportunity to wear a Christmas sweater. Y'all didn't. You got on the Phillies joint. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas, Sean P. What's up? Mongo, Junction City, Kansas, baby. What's up, Roderick? I see y'all, everybody who is on. Thank you so very much for joining us to another episode of Three Black Guys with the Mic. I am your host, Spud, along with my man, MJ Scales.
Yo, yo.
And Lamont G. Hayes. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the vaccine. We're going to talk about the stimulus. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about a couple of TV shows, and I got a couple of questions that, you know what I'm saying, I kind of want to get into as well. But if you are watching from around the world, let us know where you are. Let us know where you are from. You know, put your place where you are, represent where you are, and let us know where you are, you know what I'm saying, where you checking in from. What's up, Lamont? What's happening? What's up, Danielle? Happy holidays.
Are we gonna do this whole thing with that silly pattern? You
Yo,
killing me right
look,
now.
Lamont, I answered a second ago. Yo, you gonna turn on some lights on your face? I didn't know he meant he was gonna turn on his shirt.
But there's the lights on there.
I mean, are we doing the whole thing like this? I just need to know what I'm doing, bro.
You had the whole thing with the whole, you know what I'm saying, with the kid that cloth in the back.
Yeah, you did the Black Power weekend. You did the Black Power thing. Hey, okay, yo, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Well, let me just say this. Let me just say this. Let me say this.
Thank you so very much for checking in. If you are on with us on Facebook, make sure you share this on your page so that way your friends can be our friends and all of us can be friends. If you're watching with us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit the share button as well, so that way you can share with your people. And on Facebook, if you're watching us on Instagram, cool. I don't know how to do that on Instagram, but you can definitely, you know, share it on Instagram as well. So, before we start, I want to start with, you know, for all of our people who are not in the Detroit area, this will not, you know, probably resonate with you, but it does with us. Sheriff Benny Napoleon passed away from COVID-19 a couple of days ago. So Lamont, myself, and Maynard all know each other because we all either lived or either worked in the Detroit area. And so Detroit, Benny Napoleon ran for mayor twice. He's been the police chief for years. I mean, he was a staple in the community, and he has definitely been an icon. He has been a role model. He has been anything you can think about in the city of Detroit. He has definitely been, and he passed away over the weekend, or either last week, Friday?
I think it was last Thursday, Friday.
Thursday.
Yeah. So last week from complications due to COVID-19. So those who do not think that COVID-19 is real, the unfortunate part about what we do in the world is that, you know, it really doesn't really resonate for real until it hits home. This is one of those things that actually hit home for us. So, you know, to his family, our condolences go out. For everybody who knows Benny Napoleon, our condolences go out to the city of Detroit. We lost the real one today.
Wayne County.
Big up. So I'll pass it to Lamont, let him send his regards. And Manny, you can give your regards. And we can get on with the show, people.
No, I'll just say, you know, that was our true Uncle Benny, you know. Benny Napoleon was one of the few whether it was the neighborhood dope house or up to the upper echelon within the city and Wayne County, everybody loved Benny. Everybody respected Benny. You know what I mean?
True.
In terms of, just a human being. And I say that again, even with, it was some things that I saw with brothers that were all the way wrong. But they was like, yo, Uncle Benny on the way. You know what I mean? And it wasn't a fearful factor. It was a respectful factor. So, again, a lot of us knew him as Uncle Benny. He may not have been our blood uncle, but he was our uncle. You know what I mean? So, rest in peace, Uncle Benny. And that's it.
Yeah, man.
I think, I echo everything you guys said, and it is bigger than Detroit. Benny Napoleon was kind of like, if a city and a county and then the state are like kind of like the nation among the world. Benny was kind of he was a diplomat for the city of Detroit, and also for Wayne County in a major fashion, and it was a conduit for what Detroit and Wayne County needed in the state. So if there were things that occurred at the governor's level or at the levels above just the mayor and just the county executives, Benny was a conduit to that, and that's important. I think one other thing to think about that's truly important is, he wasn't a billionaire, but he was not a man who was he was a man with a certain level of financial success. And I mentioned that not to say that he was super rich or anything like that, but if a person who is, has the kind of regard that we're giving him, who's made money and done well in this world, can get COVID, and despite the fact that he's, not just some poor person and not in horrible health and just all the things that sometimes people kind of think about, what they call comorbidities that befall people who catch COVID. If it can get to somebody like Benny, it can touch anybody's family. It can touch any one person. We know that. We know we have over 300,000 people in America dead from COVID, and not all of them are poor, and not all of them are unfortunate. This is a man who's of means, and so we should respect the idea that this thing is out there, and that we have to we have to love on our people, man. We gotta love our people. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
No doubt. And as deaths and cases continue to rise, the vaccine is out there. Moderna kind of released their vaccine. Pfizer is out there. And there's so many people, and Lamont is one of those people, who are still skeptical of taking the actual vaccine. Because he don't believe that, it's going to work on us. It's not going to happen. One of the people that watch us on a regular basis, Perry in Texas, actually took the vaccine. And so we wanted to have a conversation with him about his experience of actually, taking the vaccine and seeing what the procedure was, seeing, if there was any side effects, if, there was anything that, he recommends, or, should we get it? Should we not get it? So we did want to have a conversation with Perry. Maynard, you want to go to Perry now, or you want to wait till?
Let's bring him in. Perry, what's up, brother? How are you?
How you doing, man? I'm doing good.
Excellent. So just to set this up for a quick minute, as Spud said, Perry is a listener or someone and Perry and I, we go back and forth all the time. He, oh man, he got the Pittsburgh stuff on display in the background.
Well, I was gonna say I don't agree with it. With his choice in the vaccine, but we on the same page with that coach for the Steelers, my man. So, good looking. Listen, I'm with you on that. My man is a legend. Okay, go ahead, man.
But Perry, he found us, I guess, basically through Twitter, and he always hits us. He always hits me. And we talk. He chops it up with me a little bit on Twitter. He tells me when the show sounded bad. He told me about last week, or what he likes, or what he doesn't like. But he mentioned that he had taken the vaccine, and he'd be the only person that I'm personally familiar with at this point that's taken it. So Perry, man, what was tell me a little bit about when did you get the vaccine?
Well, I actually got it last Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things where I work at a hospital. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
A little bit.
Go ahead, Perry. Keep talking.
Okay. I work at a hospital here in Central Texas, and it came in actually for the essential workers.
We lost her.
Can you hear me?
Keep talking, Perry.
Okay. So basically, it was brought in for the central workers here in Central Texas, and it was given an opportunity for us to take the vaccine, and it wasn't pressed upon us that we all had to do it. But in my thoughts was if we're going to get this world back to some normalcy, yes, I'm going to take it. The process was pretty simple. We had a couple pieces of paperwork to fill out. After we did that, we went upstairs to the 6th floor, and it was immediate. I mean, we kept our distance, social distance, 6 feet apart, and we went in, made sure that we got there's a lot number for each vaccine. So you have to get that lot number to make sure that when you come back for your second dose, it matches up. So it was a pretty quick process. We stayed there for 15 minutes to make sure that there was no side effects or whatever. I had no pain whatsoever taking it. I work out constantly, so there was no pain afterwards. I haven't had fevers, headaches, or anything of that nature. So there was absolutely no side effects that I had.
So Perry, do you? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lamont.
No, I was gonna ask him because Perry, you went out a little bit. I just want to, and I think I heard, but I wanted to make sure everybody also understood. You are in the medical space. You are a medical professional. Because I was gonna ask, how did you get in a scenario where you were able to take the vaccine? I guess on the front end. I just wanted to make sure we cleared that up.
I am actually IT personnel that works at the hospital. Again, I'm IT personnel that works at the hospital, so it was available for us. Obviously, the nurses and all of the medical and military personnel that works there also had the opportunity to get the shot. My wife actually went in today after all of the staff was available to get it for that first 2 days. They opened it up to the masses. If you had an ID card, I'm a retired military myself, and my wife is as well. She was able to go in, and took her about 30 minutes, and she was done.
What would the when you went to go get it, what were the medical professionals saying to you in regards to taking it? Are they asking you questions about pre-existing conditions? What is your health background? Sure. What are the recommendations after taking it? Were there any conversations and dialogue between you and the medical professionals about precautions and history? Sure.
There was 2 days prior to the shot, they gave us the actual Pfizer material to read to find out how many people were tested previously. There was like 20,000 individuals that went through the testing process of this vaccine. So they made sure that, one, we knew everything going in. If you had any kind of allergies or severe allergies, they recommended you not take it. But we were able to get all the literature beforehand and make a conscious decision ourselves to take the shot.
I'm sorry, you said, I'm sorry, Mandy, you said they told if you had what not to take it?
Well, there was in the literature that we had, if you had severe allergies or
allergies.
had
okay.
Yes, or any type of like blood thinning issues and things of that nature, they recommended probably not to take it. Go talk to your physician.
Okay. So again, you took the Moderna or the Pfizer?
No, the Pfizer.
The Pfizer. And now with the Pfizer, that was last Tuesday, you are looking for another dose in another 2.5, 3 weeks or so?
Actually, 5 January.
5 January.
21 days. Yeah.
Okay. And so at this point, you've had no kind of effects. Other people that work at the hospital where you are, and you're in the IT department, you're not like a physician or what. Other people who work in the hospital where you are, have you noticed anyone else complaining about side effects?
The group that we went in with, it was large. It was a huge group of people, and we had 15 minutes to sit around each other after the shot. And I saw no side effects.
And
there
so,
are individuals complaining about, well, there was pain at the site, and
injection
so forth and so on,
site,
but
right?
Yeah, but other than that, I haven't seen anyone experience any side effects.
This is my last question, and you guys can jump in. And so, when you and you're former military, when you
Yes.
entered the military in the past, was it required that you had all these vaccinations previously, on that kind of thing?
I believe that was one of the reasons why I had no problems taking the shot, because malaria, all the shots that we take going from Bosnia, Iraq, and so forth and so on. So it wasn't a big deal for me.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, let me wrap up with two questions. One, were there complaints about taking it? You know, were people, did other people around you in your group, did they have any fear? Did they have any questionable moments? And then my second question, because I think that this is the biggest, I guess, hurdle I'm confused with or having, is the second dose and going in to take the second dose. You know, do you think that people are going to be apprehensive to actually going and, you know, making sure that they follow up with the second appointment? You know, are you excited about the second appointment? You know, do you think you need the second appointment, so forth? Well, you have to have the second appointment. But, you know, is there any apprehension about people going to the next, you know, appointment?
I believe the group of people that were with me that took the shot have no issues with taking the second shot, but there are a group of people that they say they want to wait to see what happens. I've asked those people, what are they waiting on? And they say that maybe we just want to wait until this group gets the first and second shot to see if there's any side effects after that. But I think it's just the fear of not knowing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Perry,
go ahead.
let me just. We did get a question from the audience, and I'm going to put it out here. I'm not certain if this is your area of expertise, but
Okay.
Melanie Wins from Norfolk State, Southern California alumni, asked, if you had any information about the different types of vaccines, like Moderna versus Pfizer, and how they work differently or whatever. I don't know if that's really in your wheelhouse.
No, I have no idea the differences or the similarities between the vaccines. However, if Moderna was here other than Pfizer, I would have taken that as well.
Okay.
Perry, thank you so very much, man. I truly appreciate, you know, you coming on and giving us that information. I'm sure that gives Lamont a lot more ease of actually taking it. I'm sure he's now ready to be in line to take the vaccine.
So can we put a disclaimer out here before my conspiracy theorists come into play? Perry, we did not write you a check. We are not, you know, moles for Pfizer or Moderna, correct? So there's been no exchange of any commerce for the three black guys' bank account to your bank account. Am I right, my brother?
None whatsoever.
Well, first, let me just say, man, first, I thank you for your service. This is above and beyond, you know, the vaccine space. I do have a lot of military in my family. Military is very important, man, and we really appreciate you for what you have done, because there are a few things that I heard you say in the past about certain deployments, man. So I just want you to let you know we appreciate you for that. First, and again, I mean, there's going to be some of us that, you know, we'll just sit back and we'll wait a little bit. And I'm going to think about Perry, you know, when the conversation comes up about me taking this shot. Because I
think that what is important, if you don't mind, you know, even if you would like to bring your wife on, after you take the second shot, you know, we would love to, you know what I'm saying, have you back on just to see what the progress was, if there's anything, you know, that actually has changed, you know, what the second shot was like, so forth and so on. And then, you know, just to kind of keep the, you know, conversation going, you know, because I'm sure today a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, you've put a lot of people at ease, you know, or if not, just give people, you know what I'm saying, some more information about the experience of actually taking the, you know what I'm saying, the shot. That really helps. I mean, it helped me. I'm sure it helped, you know what I'm saying, people who are watching as well. So we truly appreciate it.
I would love to come back on, guys, anytime.
Yo, it's finally very good to meet you. I appreciate all your feedback. We really appreciate you being an avid viewer and listener. So thanks, Perry. I appreciate you, my dude.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, man.
Salute.
Thank you, man. Talk to
All right.
you soon. Shouts out to Sonia Davis for checking in. Shout out to Mike Brown. Shout out to Emmanuel Lamonti is watching. What up to Church Darrow? What's up to Shoes and Beard who just checked in? Thank you so very much for getting with us on Three Black Guys with the Mic. Let's go into the versus battle. Who won the versus battle on Saturday?
Short.
Who won, Spud?
Short one. Short one.
Okay.
You know. Actually, the Bay. Actually, you know, I know that Too Short was saying
Stop with that foolishness. The Bay was not in the verses.
I didn't even say nothing. Too Short said that the Bay won, and I was disagreeing with that because, and I'm sure that the Bay did win because there was a long section of actually bass area songs that I never heard of that probably were just, you know, a lot more familiar to the Bay Area. And I am an E40 fan. I went for, you know what I'm saying, E40. When E40 played One Love, I was like, ooh, he might be coming back. But I don't really know how you can come back from The World Is Filled with Pimps and Hoes. I mean, when 40 dropped that, when Too Short dropped, and he played the Biggie verse, I was like, ooh. Don't know how you could get away with that one.
Oh.
I'm gonna say it was short. I will say, and I know y'all feel like
I want you to say what you said in the chat. I want you to tell everybody what you said in the chat.
that this is not necessary. I feel like for grown adult men, and I know the music.
What's grown and adult? What is that?
Grown people.
I'm asking you, what's your threshold for being an adult?
Grown people.
Now, what's your threshold for being grown?
Come on.
Grown people. Look, grown people. These men are both, neither of these gentlemen are 24, 18, 13 years of age, right?
Either one of them are 40. Both of them are, it's 50 times.
Right. I just felt like there was a moment where I was like, this is not the look that I think that, I feel like there's a lot of N-words going down, that's all.
Here's my problem. Okay, so first of all, go ahead, Lamont. What's with the face?
So I'm confused. So when Richard Pryor was in his 20s and he talked about bicentennial nigga, God bless Richard as he's passed on. So are you saying at a certain age he couldn't use the N-word? And actually Richard did go through a phase of, he actually towards the end of his life, I think it was once he traveled to Africa, you know, he decided not to use that word anymore. So, you know, the Richards, the Eddie Murphys, and I'm going comedics, are you saying that when you use the N-word, you're not grown, adult? I'm confused. I'd like you to unpack that, sir.
What I'm saying is, and I'm not talking about the music part, and then for Richard, I'm not discussing the comedy part. Listen, if they perform their songs and their songs had nigga in it, their songs had curse words in it, I get that. That's not the part I'm talking about.
You're talking about the dialogue.
I'm talking about the dialogue. I'm talking about it, you know, that the dialogue didn't come off in a fashion that was like, I didn't think it was useful. I didn't think it was useful to say nigga 75 times.
Bitch, hoe, nigga, bitch, hoe, nigga, hoe, bitch. Hoe,
right.
bitch,
I didn't find that useful for me. And you know what? Maybe I'm just not out of the demo. I mean, I'm not against
what you said in the chat.
What did I say in the chat, Lamont?
That was not good for the culture.
It's not. I said that, and I said what I said.
And my response is that within our culture, I believe it's like a tree with many branches. And what you can't do, just because you're on that side of the tree, you can't say what might not be good for the culture on that side of the tree because it's a different branch. On that branch, they use hoe, nigga, bitch all the time.
Let me say this, Lamont. I feel this way about that, and that's my feeling.
Yeah.
And they very well, look, them men got more money than me. They done more stuff, whatever. They didn't have more blah, blah, blah. But you can't, you know, we talk about the steady diet of McDonald's, that's bad for you, right? You got to eat something better. But the problem is when you eat poison and you say, I'm gonna eat some poison, but I'm gonna have some lettuce. You can't balance poison with lettuce. And
so nigga, bitch, hoe is poison?
yes, yes, it is.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said it because what's up, Kelly? How are you? Because this is kind of the conversation I want to dive into. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? We would love to hear your comments. You know, if you would like to be a part of the show, there is a link in the chat. If you want to click that link and be a part of the show and give your comment, you could do that. If not, you could just leave your comment in the actual chat and communicate with the friends that we have, or our tribe, I would say. Let me just kind of, you know what I'm saying, talk about a couple of things. One, $500,000 was the budget, right? Lamont, did you read that?
No,
Okay.
you mean
If you did
no?
not. Okay, so Apple put up $500,000 for the actual thing to happen. For me, $500,000 is already a lot of money. This is concert venue status, budget, right?
That's a big grip.
That's a big grip, and I'm sure
in
40
COVID, in COVID times, but in the pandemic.
That's a big grip for 20 minutes, even without COVID.
Regardless of whatever, it's COVID. It's $500,000. It's $500,000 Apple put up. First of all, if whoever put up the money to put up $500,000 and your mics are not right, that's a problem already. To come out of the gate and the mic is not right and I'm getting feedback and the whole 9 yards, that is an issue, people. I should not have to suffer through. First of all, let me go back. I don't want to hear the DJ for 45 minutes, okay? I don't want to hear the DJ for 45 minutes. I want to, and I know I didn't pay my money, but you using up my anytime minutes. Going on with this here, okay? I got things to do. Anyways, get the infrastructure together first. I think that is extremely important because as we say, even on our podcast, when your infrastructure is not together, you lose people that way. And this Versus did not have as many people as any other, all the rest of them. This one capped out at about, 250,000? So it wasn't like 1 million, views or anything like that. Now, we are talking about two historic artists. That isn't as big, but that is what it is. I am going to side with Maynard on this one in a little bit. I think that the drunkenness, the vulgar language, shout out to Too Short and a shout out to the D, though. I do appreciate that. I think that part is a little unprofessional. I think that, from a grown man's perspective and what Maynard is saying, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I hear him saying is that when I come to it, I want to see it in a fashion that wows me. I don't want to look at a bunch of memes that say 40 is gone. E40 drunk as hell. They drunk as hell. I don't want to see that. To me, that is damaging for the culture. Because to me, when you're looking at an Apple or you're looking at iTunes and you're looking at these big corporations, then it becomes like, okay, this is now becoming some nigga shit. Like I don't think that we should have. But going to the language in the vulgar language and the bitch and the hoe and so forth and so on. Ladies, this is where I would like to hear from you. So Too Short said that he invented, he pretty much put the word bitch on the map, right? But when it came to Queen Latifah, he said he ain't gonna call Queen Latifah no bitch. But there are certain women that he will call a bitch, but not Queen Latifah. And there are certain men he will call a bitch. So Maynard. No, let me go to Lamont because Lamont, what was that, last week or the week before? We were talking about all women basically don't get the respect that they deserve. That, we putting some women on pedestals that don't deserve to be on pedestals. Are there some women that should be called a bitch and there's some women that should not be called a bitch? Is there a particular type of woman that when you say use a, that it's all good? Should we call some women bees, or should we cut, or not? Or is it, as Maynard would say, is it disrespectful? Thank you, Danielle. Killing the game with my shirt.
Danielle is out of pocket.
Wait, let me put my hat on, boy.
So
where the money reside, where the money reside. I said who?
Manny, you want to tap on this? This is great for you to pontificate.
Well, I got a list. I'm kidding. I feel like this. I just feel like I don't understand why we can't respect ourselves anymore. Because it's one thing. This is how I always felt. We had this great thing in the culture that was hip hop, and I know y'all going to shine on me. And it's something I'm talking about from Public Enemy days and KRS and whatever. Then we started calling women bitches and hoes in music, and anytime you have a punctuation, you can't write a whole you can't write a whole story and have exclamation points after every sentence. And so I think, when I at one point in my life fashioned myself as a budding writer, and this professor said, "Look, you are putting all of your emphasis, all the things that you want to get across, you're trying to do that in every sentence, right? You can't have every sentence with fuck and nigger and shit, and then the next sentence is, at some point it gets tired. It loses its. It's like when people say that you do a lot of barking, you don't do no biting, right? At some point you just barking, and so it's more meaningful, and it's a greater, to me, and this is just how I was trained, it has greater effect when you use the word bitch or motherfucker or hoe or nigger or whatever it is to punctuate something that's critical at that point, at that moment. But you continue to use it for pretty much everything just because hoe rhymes with go, or you needed something to rhyme with trigger, or somebody was a snitch, then at some point you just are saying it.
Just Bernie Mac was wrong when he said, "You seen that motherfucker, Bobby? That motherfucker."
But that's a great story. That's a great story. That's a great story.
So Bernie Mac was wrong for using the M after so many times, but.
No, that's a great story, Bernie Mac. But he didn't. That was a story that Bernie Mac was telling about how you might hear two people talk. And he said, "White people, you ain't gonna be afraid of it." You know what I'm saying? You might hear a word for the third, fourth time. It was a great story, and it was funny. But
okay, let's get back. Well, let me get back to the point because you kind of over jumped it. Are all women? Are certain women bitches and certain women not, or should we not call any woman a bitch? Period.
Well, first you used the oxymoron. First you said all, and then you said some. So
what Too Short's point was some women can be called a bitch.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna call Queen Latifah that.
And
who can be called and who cannot?
Well, I also think, like I said earlier, it's about a tree with many branches. I think Short, in his many times of touring this country, he's been to Newark. You know what I'm saying? He probably went to Newark before in the beginning. He already knew, you know what I'm saying, who Dana, who they roll with, and they just didn't tolerate a certain level of respect. I think it's up to the individual, because some women, they think that the bitch word, because they call each other bitches, they think that that's a term of endearment. Just like, sometimes people use the N-word, because we've been letting it go back and forth, but some people use it as a term. I think the word can also be used in a weaponized fashion, just like you just said the thing, Maynard, about using the word motherfucker in the way that Bernie did it. He did it in a very comedic way. I don't think when he said that story and used those words, it wasn't used as a weapon. You know what I mean? So I think, it's up to who is your audience, who you're talking to. Certain women, I'm pretty sure that there is no way that, what's the sister's name? Is it Tamika Mallory down in The Girl from Harlem? Mm-hmm. You call her a bitch and see what happens. You understand? And it ain't just her. You know what I'm saying? So what
you're saying is, you can call a woman a bitch if you aren't afraid of repercussions. Part of what I think I hear Short saying about calling Latifah a bitch is, first of all, Latifah is damn 6 foot, and she ain't no punk. So I ain't gonna call her no bitch because she might bust me in the face. But this little
you
girl,
don't have to worry about her. It's just again her level of respect, and you know where she come from, and them boys around her wouldn't allow that. You know what I'm saying?
And so what you're saying is a woman who you happen to come across, who you don't fear any repercussions from. It's a green light to say, well, she ain't gonna do shit, and she ain't got nobody who's gonna do shit to me, so I can call her a bitch because she ain't got nobody who's gonna come see me. That's what you just basically said.
Well, I've also said, what's old girl, JT from the City Girls? I was looking at her live the other day, right? I mean, she said bitch more than short could ever say.
Your whole life.
You feel what I'm saying?
I hear that.
So I'm saying when you have a I know we can't say female, I'll just say young lady, young woman, you know, that's a term. I mean, I keep it 1,000. They use it very frequently, and they use it as a term of endearment. But I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I don't know, but, you know.
So my feeling is this, and I'll say it like this. You know, hey, I ain't gonna make no lies about it. You know, we all been in the hip hop industry, whether you on the record side, us on the radio side, we marketing, promotion, whatever it has taken to make a buck. And so a lot of those records made you money on one side and us money on the other side. And I get that. So I'm not going to sit here and try to act like, you know, somehow I'm holier than thou, but people are saying it, you know, there's this concept of a frog being boiled. And his feet get warm, and he doesn't do anything. And then his legs get warm, and then so on and so forth. Before too long, he's just boiled to death. We've been saying it so much that we're desensitized to it. And like Roderick said, what other culture denigrates itself for money? So you get a lot of money, doesn't make you a better person, doesn't make you good, doesn't make you bad, doesn't make you anything. It just means you got a lot of money.
Has it a negative turned into a positive? As if, you know what I'm saying, the N-word. The N-word was used as a negative in the beginning, and now we use it as a positive. Most of us use it as a term of endearment. The word bitch has been now used as a term of endearment. I mean, women call each other the B word more than...
That is the concept of the frog being boiled. They are so people have become so desensitized to it that they say it. And, you know, one thing that we did do is we took the thing that was the N-word or nigger, and we claimed some ownership of it to be a part of what we can say. And then what we also did is we in fact turned around and did weaponize the word. We told white folks or people of any culture, you say it and see what happens. My problem with particularly bitch and hoe or whatever is that there's not a song made by a man. There's not a rap song made by a man where he's saying bitch or hoe necessarily as a term of endearment, save maybe one or two, like Biggs, me and my bitch. But it's, you know, as Tina says here, it's an insult. And we keep doing it. And now we have little girls, because the city girls are approaching adulthood, but when did they hear it? They probably heard Trick saying it in a song with Trina, excuse me, or Jackie O. So it's contagious. I got an 11-year-old. At some point, is that going to be her reality? Go ahead, Lamont, I'm sorry.
So remember we was in the chat and I told you all about that that PBS special about Reconstruction, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Great documentary. If you haven't seen it, Reconstruction, PBS, Google it, whatever. So it was a portion in there about the two real coons. It was a two-man group. You remember that, Maynard?
Yeah.
You familiar with that?
Yeah.
So George Walker and Burt Williams, two black guys who.
Why are you referring to Maynard like I don't like?
Just hold on.
Because he's trying to smack me across the face, Spud. That's what it is.
Right, because what I'm getting ready to say is
he's only listen, Spud. He ain't gonna call you no bitch because he's afraid of you.
No,
but he won't call me a bitch because he don't think I'm gonna come see him. But I can get up 95 real quick. I ain't.
No. So when they were telling the story about how This is a time of vaudeville, blackface. This was 1800s.
Minstrel shows.
Minstrel shows, the whole thing where we were called coons, a derogatory term. And it said that these two people, George Walker and Burt Williams, decided, you know what? Since they want to have us in the negative space, we're going to turn it into a positive. We're already black, so we're going to put the black stuff on there, and we're going to call ourselves the two real coons. And they ended up traveling the world, employing a lot of black people, and having one of the biggest shows. And then these guys ended up going on TV and X, Y, and Z. So I say all that to say is that first, it made me think about NWA, right? About how, they did that whole nigger thing and said, we're going to take it back and we're going to be niggas with an attitude. And it also goes into this conversation of some people will say that you can take a word, make it your own, massage it, and it's something that they did back in the 1800s, the word cool.
But in that same doc, there was a great discussion about Du Bois and Booker T and Frederick Douglass.
And your bougie ass, when they said that shit, I said, that is Maynard. That's the clown shit right there. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's the clown shit. The idea that this man educated himself and educated. No. Hold on, wait a minute. When you talked, I didn't say shit.
Okay, I got you. I'm on mute. Go ahead, man. You got the floor.
And that there was damn. We can't even have dialogue no more. That there was a thing that he said, this is class. He showed black people as class. He showed black people dressed in their best. He showed black people doing the work. And it went a long way to prove to America that we weren't the black bucks. We weren't the coons. We weren't the jigaboos. We weren't the shuffle-alongs that were so portrayed in Birth of a Nation. And so he was asking and trying to prove that we're bigger than what was painted about us. But here we go, electing to call ourselves, and I'm not even gonna talk about the N word or the B word or the H word. We name ourselves the some of the dirtiest terms. Nikki is about Minaj. That's her thing, okay? Or Slim Thug or 21 Savage or whatever the case. Like, why would we want to call ourselves savages?
So are you saying that Burt Williams? So wait, hold up, Spud. So were they wrong back in 1800s?
I mean, I think that everything can be done where it's punctuation. It is saying we got a whole paragraph and periods go pretty much everywhere. But occasionally an exclamation point is necessary. Occasionally all caps is necessary. But we don't have that balance any longer.
Can you translate that, Spud? I don't understand that.
What I'm saying is every young rapper, there's not a rap record being released where explicit lyrics is not stamped on, where parental guidance, explicit lyrics is not stamped on the front of the album anymore. Like that was occasional. Now it's the norm. If you're not cursing, if you're not portraying acts of violence against other black people or against black women, if you're not, if you go back and listen to like 50's first joint, Get Rich or Die Trying, it's like 27 homicides on the thing before you get halfway through, right? So at some point, that has become the norm. We don't have the balance any longer. There's no lettuce. It's all poison.
Okay, Lamont, wrap it up and we'll move on.
Well, I'm gonna ask a question again because I asked before. Were George Walker and Burt Williams, were they wrong?
No, I just answered it, but maybe I said it differently. I'm just saying that it's okay occasionally. That is part of some of the things. But now we've gotten to the point where it's all of the things. Where it was part of some of it. It's not all of it. Now that's all we have.
It's all about where the money resides. Where the money resides, where the money resides. I say who and a what. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. All right, let's move on to so Maynard, Are you buying your daughter Christmas gifts this year?
Yeah, but I have unique gifts that have been purchased. She's getting, I felt like this year's the time that she gets.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she watches the podcast. I'm sure you don't want to tell her what's under the tree, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point. No, she doesn't watch the podcast. She better not be.
Woo!
But she's getting 3 books, The Souls of Black Folks, and
I'm sorry, you got her the book, The Souls of Black Folks?
Yes.
Oh.
Up from Slavery. Souls of Black Folks, Up from Slavery, and Frederick Douglass' Narrative of a Slave.
Can you give me that baby's cash app so I can send her some money so she can go get something fun, please? Send me that baby's cash app right now, Maynard.
Look, man,
let that baby live.
She's
let
living.
That sweet baby girl
She's
live.
living. She's got other. Listen,
man, y'all are just giving me all of the alley-oops, which is leading me to my next conversation about what we should be buying each other and our family and kids for Christmas. Maynard is buying education. I just have to say, is Souls of Black Folks an 11-year-old read?
Exactly. Give me that.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen. And maybe I'm wrong, but she's got other gifts.
You're wrong. I'm just asking.
Listen,
is that an 11-year-old read?
She's got other. It's time for. I've been saying this since I started the 21-day challenge. Okay. It's time for. She and I had a conversation right before we started the show. We had a conversation about Donny Hathaway and Bob Marley. She's named after Bob Marley, and Nina Simone, etc. And no, I don't expect her to gravitate to this at 11. But similar to what Ta-Nehisi Coates did with his book, as he said, I come to you, speaking to you on your 15th year. It's time for me to make certain that I'm preparing my daughter, because she decides that at some point she's going to go away to college. In the next couple of years through high school, she's going to read Shakespeare. They read Shakespeare last year, right? And they're going to read, Huck Finn, and they're going to read Tom Sawyer, and they're going to read all those people they say are great American writers. But then they come to black writers, they say, oh, these are good black writers, or great black writers, or great African-American writers. But they never say these are great American writers. They never say that these people are great American writers, and they are among the greatest. And it's time for me to make sure that as the school system introduces my daughter to Shakespeare and to Oliver Twist, that I'm making sure that she's reading about where she comes from, who she is, and where she's going.
Can I ask a question? I agree with you on that. I mean, I just didn't know the Souls of Black Folks. I actually just was rereading it not too long ago. But I was just, is there a newer generation of what our kids should be learning? I ask that because, and answer that, it's a yes or a no, but I want your feedback on it, because my son, he's 29. And so he and I were having a conversation about Malcolm X, and he was just saying he was about to watch the movie. And so I was telling him, he really should actually read the book and actually, watch the documentary, because that will give him a bigger understanding of who Malcolm X was about, and, give him a broader picture before he goes into the fictional or the theatrical, version of that. But I'm curious to know, are we teaching our kids about history that's not relevant to them? And I know that's a very, very weird way of saying it. It's not that. I mean, but I'm just very curious to know, how does an 11-year-old resonate with Souls of Black Folks? I just, and again, I'm not, I am so not taking away from what you're doing. I agree with you 100%. I'm just thinking of, is there something more on her level that, or not level, is there something more recent that she can gravitate to versus what everyone has put on our generation to say, these are the books you need to read. You need to read this. You need to watch this. You need to read, what is the joint? Miseducation of the Negro, and you need to, all of these. Why is there not a newer generation of these historic books? And should there be? I guess is my question.
Lamont, do you want some of this?
I mean, I think I'm the only person out of 3 black guys who, I don't know if my credentials are the same. You know, I think what you're doing, man, is correct. You know, even with that documentary, and Spud, this is my position. Even at 50 years old, did I really learn about Reconstruction at a younger age? Yes. But I didn't really learn and understand and comprehend what Reconstruction really was until I was 50. And I'll be honest. You know what I mean? When I say really understand, you know, and again, for me, it's about economics. That, to me, that's just my biggest thing, you know, especially the young people, is understanding, because I'll never forget this. One of the scariest courses that I remember taking in college was economics. And now I wish I had the mindset that I had then that I have now, because I look at economics totally different, because that's, to me, what really runs this. I think even us being brought to these shores was about economics. I mean, I just believe that really rules the world. So I think that there's a way that you can teach a subject and give it to them at a certain age, and there's a relevance that you can give it. It's all on how you massage the message and who's giving the message. So I think it's a combination of the two. But again, I ain't got no kids. You know, all of the young people, because I got a rule. If I rock with you and you getting a Christmas gift from me and you under 21, yo, dog, you give me your list and I'm hitting the stockpile account, and that's it. I'm not messing with you no other kind of way.
Well, and this is the reason why I asked that, man. And I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
My niece is 15, right? And I just sent her a gang of books. And that was my first mindset, which is yours. Like, oh, you got to read, you know, I know why this cage bird sings. And I know, you know what I'm saying? You got to read these books that are historic to me, but have no relevance for her. And I had a conversation with my mom. I was like, well, I was like, you know, should I be sending, you know, Mariah, like, all of these books that are history to me and the things that I think that she needs to know, you know, about Frida Kahlo because she's Mexican. But my mom was like, I don't know if these things are going to resonate with her the way that somebody like Angie Thomas and, like, you know, The Hate U Give, or, you know, what's the writer that Beyonce referenced in Flawless? African lady, Chimamanda, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but somebody who's a little bit more relevant. And that's the only reason why I asked that question. Again, I'm not taking away from what you're doing, because I think that, you know, what you're doing is correct. I was just curious to know, is there something that's more relevant that we can be passing down to our kids that's in that demographic that's a lot more recent that they can relate to, rather than the things that they probably cannot resonate with?
Well, I'll say this. I think first of all, I think we undersell our children, and we undersell children in general. They learn whatever language you teach them, right? They come into the world not knowing how to speak. They learn how to speak. They know how to write. They learn how to write. They learn. So they're capable of anything. A. B, I also believe that relevance is sometimes relevance is to the soul, but popularity, or what somebody thinks may resonate differently now, has less to do with these are old books or whatever. It has more to do with pop. Like, I want to hear Lil Yachty. I don't want to hear KRS. That's not this conversation. These things are timeless. And like Mel, look, they will talk about. They continue to tell us that Shakespeare, or Oliver Twist, or Homer's The Odyssey and the Iliad. They will talk about that in our schools forever. Shakespeare been dead 600 years. They still talk about Romeo and Juliet. So I don't see why these things are any different. And I'm saying it's a gumbo. Here is the base. Here is the part that I'm putting in. And it's going to be up to her to gravitate towards Richard Wright. It's going to be up to her to gravitate towards Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's going to be up to her to gravitate to the newer, younger writers and pick that up and put all these things in this stew, because it is relevant. All these things are relevant. This is who we are. This is where we come from. There's nothing that if you can't get any closer to the life of slavery from anyone who did not live through slavery. Frederick Douglass did. So at the very least, we can take from him these lessons. And last thing I'll say about it is, as soon as, because just tonight, I've been asking my daughter all this time, what is it you want to be when you grow up? What are you for months? I don't know, Dad. Leave me alone. And she said she wanted to be a writer. So, okay, great. And she wants to go to a black college. The very first thing you will learn, the very first book you will read at almost every black college in America is Frederick Douglass's book. That's going to be the first thing. It's in at Norfolk State, and I was at Delaware State, both places as a freshman. That was one of the first books that they were like, "Yo, you got to have this book. If you don't have this book in your reading repertoire, like you should have had this read before you showed up. What do you came to school and you hadn't read Narrative of a Slave by Douglass? Where the hell did you come from?" So,
okay. That was such a sidebar, y'all, and we're like I had so much more to talk about, but we won't get to it this week because obviously we got 4 minutes. Okay, all right. Anything you guys want to jump into? I mean, I'm not done. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I mean, but
I don't have a problem with it.
I would like to, passing the baton to you guys.
Oh, I did want to say this. Rashida Jones, speaking of the success
God,
of...
You just bring it up. Y'all are just giving me the alley-oops today. Go ahead.
Rashida Jones, not Quincy Jones's daughter, but the sister, Rashida Jones, 39 years of age, was VP of NBC News. In, I believe, February, she will ascend to president of MSNBC. Only black woman in this space, president of a major news network operation. We also know that MSNBC is the crown jewel of NBC's news operation. And it's, I'm sorry to say this, it's not Lester Holt. And God bless Lester Holt. He worked at the station I worked at, and he's a good guy. But, the crown jewel of NBC's news operation is MSNBC. Rashida Jones is now ascending to the president of that. And I say salute, National Association of Black Journalists leader in the past and now big time. So I just wanted to shout her out. And I think that she very well has had her hand. She had her hand on making sure that Kristen Welker was doing that presidential debate this past election season. I'm sure that her hand has been guiding and pushing forward that Joyanne Reed finally got the space that she so rightly deserved, and that John Capehart and Tiffany Cross are now, bringing the weekends up. And so, salute.
So can I ask a question, Maynard? As you're going through all of these accolades, and you're right, my wife, when that news broke, she got really, really, really excited. And she said, "Oh no, Alama, I know her." Because, my wife was at Telemundo, which is part of the NBC
right.
family, blah, blah, blah. So can we not say that black women are kind of getting it right now?
Oh, they balling.
All right. So, okay. I just want to make sure we can do that because I know we do a lot of complaining in our community of, the man has his foot on our neck and we're never this and that. And because we definitely are a community of complainers. So
Can I ask a stupid question?
Uh-huh.
Will we ever get to a point?
Never.
Never?
Nope. You know why?
I'd like to know why.
My mom used to say this, boy, you give them... My mother didn't cuss, so she didn't use the N-word. But she used to say, you give them an inch, they're going to want to take a mile. So out of all those accolades that Maynard just gave, is somebody that's going to say, oh, that's not enough.
Is that what you're about to ask? I think, were you about to ask something about, like, is there ever going to be a point where we don't have to be the first anymore?
Yeah.
So I kind of, no, I don't think there's going to be a point when we're going to get to being the first at something or being able to do something.
Will that always keep us as second class, though?
No, I think that will always keep us with. I hope it always keeps us with our eyes on the prize.
I mean, because this is the eyes on the prize.
Right, wait, Spud. Don't let that go. What's the prize, Maynard? What are we keeping our eyes on?
On success, on growing us, of finding. I want to be a better me every day. I want to be a better father. I want to be wealthier. I want to be healthier.
Why am I concerned if Joel Osteen has a Ferrari? That's not the prize.
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything about that.
Listen, can we go over for a few minutes? I know it's 8:00. Can we go over, Lamont?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm ready.
Are you sure? I know you're a stickler about time. If you guys, can you just give us a few minutes?
Yeah.
Because you guys just gave me all the alley-oops tonight.
Right.
Because there's just one more thing that I want to actually touch upon. But every time I hear that, and maybe it's just me, I'm not the most educated brother in the world. You guys are smarter than me. But I always, when I hear that, and in some instances it is warranted. Like when Kamala won, when Kamala won, the only thing I needed to hear was she was the first woman to be elected to be the vice president of America. Same way they did Hillary. To clinch the nomination, they said she was the first woman to clinch the nomination. And then when I heard the black part, which is fine, whatever. And then when I heard Joy Ann Reid, she's the first black woman to get, the full-time show. And now Rashida Jones is the first black woman to lead the thing. And, who else was I watching? Jamie Foxx is the first one, the black lead in the Pixel joint. And I'm like, why do I have to be the first black? Why can't I just be the first? Why do I have to be that? Like, why am I being put in the box of being the first black? Which is fine. That's cool if you want to put me in that. But that is a box to me. I don't know why. That to me always says we're not going to be equal to whatever it is that you wanted to compare us to, which is the white man or the white woman. We're never going to be compared to that situation. We're always going to be second class or secondary to American standards. Am I wrong or am I just on crack?
Well,
this is your area.
Yeah, Mr. Hotep, what you got?
I'll say this, and it's not a Hotep scenario at all. Part of the reason why the monuments to the Confederate monuments should come down, part of the reason why we need more than a Michael Jordan statue in Chicago is because we are from the group of people or the demographic where the kids that are directly behind us and even us, when you ask them, what do you want to be? They said, I want to be in the NBA. Or they said, I want to be a rapper. Or I want to be like Michael Jackson or all these things. Because that's all we can see. And I'm really, really not being, this is definitely not, I was reading, my favorite poem is by Margaret Walker, and she goes on and she says something in the poem that the children were out in the yard playing, in the backyards playing baptizing and preaching and doctor and jail and soldier and school and mama and cooking and hair and Miss Chumbi and company. She didn't say they were in the backyard playing astronaut because there's no such thing to those kids at that time. She didn't say that black kids were out in the yard playing president or mayor or governor or anything that was bigger than what they could see. So I think when we do have someone who ascends to that level, it's crazy because Rashida Jones is achieving at a major level. But someone's always going to be like, yeah, but City Girls got a hit record. So
what's wrong with that?
I ain't mad at City Girls for that hit record, but we celebrate. We spent a lot of time celebrating or talking about Cardi B for weeks in season 1 of this podcast. We talked about it 3-4 weeks straight, but we didn't talk about the black women or black men who are achieving in the business community at a major level. The way if they weren't celebrities, if it wasn't Jay-Z and Tidal, we weren't talking about the guy who was the executive vice president of this company or that company who happened to be black. And all I'm saying is, if you can't see these things, if you can't dream about being this someday, then then you won't. As Ali said, all the angels in the church are all white. Where the black angels at?
No, I'm not disagreeing with your point. Your point is valid. I mean, I used to have a, mentoring program called Project Exposure, where I would take kids to things that weren't actually, in our norm, right? The conversation in the beginning of the actual program was, okay, tell me the things that you want to be when you grow up. What do they say? All black boys, 13, 14 years old. Architect, scientist, all of these other things that they wanted to aspire to. However, then you say, okay, well, what do you watch on TV? BET, MTV, none of the things that are in direct line of what are the things that they wanted to do. So the goal was, okay, let's get you in the room with the people that you want to be like. So that way you can be able to see what that a road is, or that path is, so that way you can actually get to, that level. But I'm just, when I hear that all the time, it just makes me feel like, why do I have to say that Rashida Jones is the first black president of NBC? Why can't she just be another woman, or the first woman to actually, hold that position? And she just happens to be black. But when we say the first black woman to do that, it just always makes me feel as if I'm putting our people in a box, as if we couldn't achieve that in the first place. Like, it makes me feel like, oh, she's black. It's kind of like my Jewish clients, right? It's like, oh yeah, you read good for a black person. Oh, I never even knew that you could even do that for a black person. What do you mean? Like, I'm just as smart or good or articulate as anybody else. Why do I have to be put in that box of being the first black? It's a great achievement. I don't knock it. I'm just being controversial in the sense of, it just makes me feel as if it's not even like,
Because Black Ice needs to see it.
I don't think that that's going to matter. I think if Black Ice sees, let me just say it real quick, Lamar. If Black Ice sees Rashida Jones as the first black, she's not going to be like.
She doesn't care.
Y'all think the least of everybody. I believe that she aspires to do bigger things too.
I just think like this. I think that Steve Stout wrote The Tanning of America, which is a really great book. And in that book, very good book. He talks about this generation having shared values, right? Where we looked at it, and even I can even attest to this, where we looked at it like, oh my God, Barack Obama is the first black president of the United States. And in my son's eyes, at that time he was 20, he's like, I don't understand why you're saying that he's the first black president of the United States. Like, what is such the big deal? In his mind, he wasn't even thinking like that was a big deal. Like, that wasn't even like an accomplishment. That was like a standard to be. And I just think that in some instances, it just kind of like continues to put us in this level, like, oh yeah, Rashida Jones is the first black president of the NBC. They can fire a black ass just like they can fire anybody else. What's that gonna matter? She's just as capable as anybody else. If it was a woman, if it was Megyn Kelly, they would say Megyn Kelly is the first woman to be the president of NBC. But she's the first white woman to do it.
But there's a falsehood in that. She's not just as capable as anyone else. She's more capable, right? She's more capable, and we've always had to be more capable. We've all heard this the term. You work twice as hard just to be considered half as good, and we all have known. My favorite thing is Ty Willingham becomes the coach at Notre Dame, has a winning season, 3 years. He has 2 winning seasons. In his third season, he's 8-3, and they fire him. They hire Charlie Weiss, and he has a losing season. He goes 1-14, but they kept giving him more chances. When we get places, we succeed. There have been 45 presidents. One black hold on, wait a minute. Let me finish. Wait a minute. No. Let me finish this. Let me finish this. We've had one black president. One. And tell me which president in your lifetime has been better than Barack? Okay.
Well, Clinton was probably.
Whoa.
No, I'm
What
just
do
kidding.
you mean by, first of all, as far as better? And we got to go back to Black Ice because I'm giving, I try to let you get your hotep off, but you have to define better. What's better? What do you mean a better president?
Well, let's say this. Just like this president has handed Joe Biden a mess with the coronavirus and all kinds of craziness, George Bush literally took Bill Clinton's surplus and turned it into a deficit, and then gave Barack Obama the fiscal cliff. Like, they literally said, while they were in the middle of the campaign when Barack was running against John McCain, we didn't know if people were going to go to the bank, go to the ATM machine, if money was going to come out. That literally happened. That Detroit was bankrupt, and Barack Obama saved Detroit. So whenever somebody says, what are we going to do? GM was going out of business. They were in receivership. Barack, as president, helped lead the team to save Detroit and other parts of the economy. And wait a minute. You asked what was better. Was he
barometer, and that's fine.
Was he better than Bush?
No. Listen, you can have that. There's your barometer. But let me just say this other thing, where there's a certain DJ that all three of us know. And here's where you made a mistake earlier, is that you said that how did you say this? Come on, help me out, Spud. We think less than of black people. I think, Maynard, sometimes you don't understand that some black people, they just want to be what they are. They don't really aspire to be maybe something that may be more than. They're just happy with where they are.
Sure.
Right. So I don't know if, and again, just take this DJ, for example, who had been in this particular space for over 25 years. And I asked the particular DJ, why don't you, be able to go do X and Y? Because I understood you had these opportunities. And this DJ said to me, nah, I'm good right here where I'm at.
And I get that. Lamont.
So Black Ice, her job and what she want to aspire to is just that when it's midnight and it's finale time, for all tops to be down and for her to get tips. That just might be her thing.
And I'm sure that there are people like that. And similar to what we were discussing last week, and then we just said, oh, they're not getting physical. Listen, I don't care what woman is out there. There is a small minority of women who exist in this world who are past the age of, I don't know, probably 16 or 17, stripper or not, who ain't saying, I need to mess around and go see the gynecologist.
I don't know if you know that.
Okay. I'm relatively sure that that's something that's hard coded in what it is to be an adult female, no matter if you're a stripper or not. And I'm sure that no matter if you're a stripper or not, that there's a bunch of them who are stripping or are doing this job or that job. That is where they are. And I think there are some people who just like, I don't mind shoveling shit. This is my life. This is my lot in life. But I believe that a lot more people are saying, I'm doing this until I can get to where I'm going. And they may never get there. Some people will never get there. But I know most people want, at least, if they don't want more for themselves, they want more for their children.
Man, are you living the life?
No.
Okay. Where do you want to be, and why are you not there? There are lots of things that have nothing to do with financial success or job titles that I want more in this world. I want to be an amazing father. I want to be a better leader of my community. I want to be a better alum to my university. I want to be a better friend to y'all. So there are lots of things that are in some of those things. Let's just keep it on the career, though. I appreciate that, but let's keep it on the career.
The career part is not even important to me. I'm good. My career, I make good money. I'm not disappointed. I wish I could make twice as much. And at some point, I'm finding other ways to make money, whether through investments or other kinds of strategies or hustles, etc. The career part, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve.
What's the question again?
Are you where you want to be in life? career-wise?
Honestly, at 50 years old, I got to be honest with you, yes. But now I'm on the path of, and my list isn't as long as Maynard, is that I want to be able to acquire assets for generations to come and leave instructions for those assets. Because, and I'll just say this real quick. So I have how do we say it? My wife's cousin.
You have a cousin. You have a cousin.
So I have a cousin. He runs the R.J. Reynolds Foundation, the tobacco people over there in Carolina, right? And,
Richmond, Virginia, actually, but yeah.
Are they?
I mean, that's what I mean, they owned all of this ish.
Oh, okay, yeah, but you know, and one Christmas, because as we were on this Christmas thing, we were having a conversation about just their foundation alone and how it's set up and how, you know, the thought process of the foundation was about generations to come. And I feel like, and you're right, Spud, we've done in our lifetime, we've done a lot of partying, a lot of hanging out, a lot of acquiring physical items, experiences. I mean, you know, we talk about this all the time, and I'm never gonna forget this. I was with my man, and we was in Saint-Tropez, and we was looking over the balcony, we was drinking champagne, and I thought about my grandmother. I thought about my great-grandmother, who never would be able to experience something like that. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, even though I don't have children, when I am dead and gone, there are going to be young people that I have touched and quote unquote poured into, as a black preacher would say, and we want to give them a blueprint. We want to give them some instruction, because I don't think we got the proper instruction, and our parents didn't have the proper instruction, and our great-grandparents. And I think for me, that's what's important. Is how do we?
And how do you think that? And you can jump on the back end of that, because you talked about communities and, you know what I'm saying, being a better person to. I know you got. Let me take this off, because so you can take me seriously.
Where the money reside, where the money reside.
So, but how do you do that, Lamont? I mean, you know, and maybe you can jump in on the back end of that.
Well, I think again. So there are a lot of ways that you can leave assets to people, right? So it's like, okay, you don't just leave somebody a check like Deshaun. God willing, it's another 100 years. But you don't just leave Deshaun $1 million or $2 million when you check out of here, right? Because the reality is that money doesn't come with instruction. You feel what I'm saying? So some of it goes to even what Maynard was saying earlier about a lot of the books that he's giving Marley in terms of, you know, what he was talking about. But hopefully over time, you know, there's a lot of conversation about economics. You know what I'm saying? Understanding definitely if you're a young black male that you're in a war. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, like in Minister Society, you know, the hunt is on and you to pray. I believe even from an economic perspective, they need to understand that as well, so they're able to protect those assets. You know what I mean? So just like even with Lil Wayne, and again, we don't know his full situation, but if maybe he had a different economic teacher, whether it be parent or advisor or whomever else, they might have said, hey, dog, we ain't going to sell it all. We're going to sell some to get you right. Well, maybe we ain't got to sell none. Let's figure out some other different ways of just selling off an asset. Because, again, from a long-term economic perspective, you know, masters are perpetuity, bro. That's forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And they're transferable. And you don't really get a lot of assets like that in life. So, again, I think it's about instruction. You know, I'm just big on that.
I would agree that instructions are important, and Lamont spoke a good deal about passing on this financial wealth. And I think there's also two other, at least in my opinion, and there may be more, if others can have more, two other types of wealth that exist. And one is kind of a spiritual wealth, and I don't mean about, you know, going to church, but I mean about feeding your soul and your spirit to know who you are in this world and ground yourself. To have all the money in the world, and Spud, you being the person who knows a little bit more about, you know, verses from the Bible, but, you know, what does it gain a man to have all the money in the world and he can't get into heaven, or something to that effect, right? He has a greater chance getting into heaven as a camel through the eye of a needle. So I think knowing who you are, not to lose who you are and your connection to what's important, because we are of great stock. We are great people. Everything we do, here's the crazy part. We've been told so long that we're mediocre, that we miss our greatness. Because every time we get an opportunity, we kill it. We kill it. They wouldn't let black people run in the race. Jesse Owens killed it. They wouldn't let black people play in Major League Baseball. Jackie Robinson killed it. They wouldn't let black girls play tennis. Venus, Serena, think about it. Richard Williams was told, this is a phenomenal interview one time. They were interviewing Serena Williams. She was 14 or 15 years of age. And the person asked me, what do you want to do? She said, I want to be number one. And then the interviewer said, you want to be number one? Isn't that kind of a lofty goal? Richard Williams said, wait a minute, don't you tell that girl that she can't be number one. He's had two. There's not a person on this planet. There's not a great coach in tennis that's had two female or male tennis players be number one in the same space and time. Think about that. He's easily the greatest coach ever then, right? He coached those girls. They both became champions. Serena is arguably the greatest player to ever do it, male or female. Barack became the first black president. He's easily better than all the guys that came before him in at least the most recent times. Definitely better than Trump. We kill it. When we get an opportunity, we kill it. When we get up the bat, we knock the ball out the park. And I think that that's a spiritual wealth to know that that's where you come from. That's one. And then the other wealth that I think that's important is not just like where you come from in this larger black thing, but where you come from in the smaller, like, I can touch people who are next to me, side, left and right, front and back, that I can see a little boy across the street and read a book with him or help him fix the chain on his bike or put a new tire in his little bicycle and whatever. And I think that that's important. One of the things that I want my daughter to take away from me is a legacy of giving.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. We are out, ladies and gentlemen. We are 21 minutes over our time. Emmanuel, thank you so very much for checking in with us. You know what I'm saying? Being first-time listener. We're here every Monday, 7 p.m. We do it live every Monday. Please share it with your friends.
Perry, thank you.
You know, Tina, thank you so very much for jumping on again. Let's see, Danielle. Is this Melanie Wins? Shout out to Melanie Wins, Frank, Kelly, Shanti, you know, everybody who checked in. Sorry, I can't go through everybody.
Right.
I asked those questions because, you know, and I'll say this with, you know what I'm saying, our tribe on the, you know what I'm saying, line, but I think that, you know what I'm saying, if we decide to, you know, move into 2021 and do this podcast in 2021, then I think that, you know what I'm saying, we need to move into a space of actually doing some of this giving. And you know what I'm saying? And I mean, we've done this, you know what I'm saying, podcast, 4 years now?
Next year, season 5.
You know, yeah, I mean, so, you know, we've done a great deal of talking. We've done a great deal of debating. We've done a great deal of educating and having guests on and so forth and so on. But I do think that, you know, if we decide to move into 2021, some of the things that we talked about tonight, sharing, giving, you know, actually moving into a space of actually doing the work and making sure that we are passing on educational wealth, financial wealth, or whatever, whether it just be, you know, through, you know, interviews or whether it just be through actual action. But I would like for us to move into some more action if we decide to do it in 2021. And that's the reason why I brought that up. So thank you guys so very much for listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. If you're not watching us on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. Also on Facebook, you know how the little reminder says, you know what I'm saying, get reminder, hit that button so you can get a reminder so that when we are on, you will automatically get an alert to say, oh, 3 Black Guys with the Mic is on. Let me tune in. Do that. Then plus also hit the thumbs up button and share it with your friends so that way, you know what I'm saying, we can continue to grow this conversation and grow with more people. So you guys have a fantastic Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, if you don't, happy Kwanzaa to you. We will be back on Monday. What's Monday? The 27th, 28th?
If you say so, boss.
Yeah, we'll be back next Monday. If we don't, then they fired me and we got into it and we said we weren't going to do it. If not, we'll be back in 2021. Maybe. I don't know. So, but happy holidays to you guys. If we don't talk to you, happy New Year to you as well. Hopefully we'll have a better 2021 and peace. Holla back.